Hey guys, welcome to American Coin and Currency live stream. Today we are cracking the code on heirlooms and collecting for your future. So today's title is Cracking the Code, Securing the Future, Collector Safeguards and Heirloom Investing. Today we're here with myself, Dustin Lee, host social media here at American Coin and Currency, CEO and founder, John Meady. How's it going, John?
It's going great. How are you today?
It's going great. I mean, the price of the precious metals going up. More people are coming into the numismatic industry and then more coin
Yeah.
collecting. So a lot of questions, a lot of newcomers. Helping educate people and creating these safeguards. So it's always great to have you here to be an expert in that level in that industry.
Oh, yeah. And I could say that this week and last week, my phone is just ringing off the hook. People looking to buy, people
Right.
wondering if, should I buy now? Should I wait for a pullback? Don't wait
Mm,
for a pullback. Don't throw everything at it at once. Buy in increments. If you have $100,000 to spend on precious metals, pick up 25,000 today, 25,000 in a week. You know what I'm saying? Spread it out. Uh, because listen, no one really knows where the prices are going to eventually go. We all use just, our intuitive and deductive reasoning to try to figure this out. Look at what's going on in the world. I think prices are going to continue to rise. Dustin, you and I have been saying since we started this that we're going to see $5,000 gold in the near term
yeah.
and $50 silver. We're not at 5,000 gold yet, but we have
Mm,
breached the $50 silver, and I think silver is going to 100. Like I really, if you put the list of factors on why precious metals will continue to rise, as opposed
mm,
to why they might not, the reasons of why far outweigh the reasons not. And everything on the screen is green. Uh, Palladium. I don't follow. I'm sorry, platinum. I don't follow platinum too much. I mean, I have some. I have graded coins that are platinum. But platinum not long ago was at nine. It was under 1,000. It was $980 an ounce, and it's at 1734 today. And I'm
wow.
talking a few months ago. So when people are calling nonstop saying, "Hey, do I buy now? Do I sell?" Everyone's selling. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's in the business the other day, and we were laughing because back when gold went over, when it hit that $2,000 price point, that was
Mm,
a mental trigger where everyone started selling their
right.
jewelry, bracelets, everything that was precious metal related, and now they're kicking themselves because they sold everything back at 2000. Now
Well,
we went over 4,300 today for the first time ever.
jeez.
So same thing.
Same.
I really think that the same people that are selling all their stuff now, great. Listen, if you need the money, absolutely sell it. But if you're not hurting for that money, if it's not going to affect your day to day, I would hold. I wouldn't sell right now because it goes to 5, 6, 7, 8, $10,000 an ounce, $100 on silver. You're going to be kicking yourself. So
Mm,
hold off. But yeah, this is exciting. I mean, geez, Louise, I never thought, Dustin, a couple of years ago that we would be looking at prices like this in
mm,
such a short amount of time. It's
mm.
wild what's happening. I don't think people realize how absolutely mind-boggling crazy this is to see, silver up 12% in a week. That's doesn't
Wow.
happen, but it obviously did. So exciting times ahead.
Mm. Yeah, agreed. I mean, just what was it, a little less than 2 years ago? I mean, gold was like 1,600. Like it was quite a bit less. And I remember, yeah, it took that dip from the around the COVID times um when it got to its
Yeah.
all time high. And then took
Yeah,
a
I
little
have a
bit.
local customer, Dustin, who a couple of years ago, he had been buying for a year or so. This is a few years ago, but he probably spent or I shouldn't say spent. He invested uh, almost $3 million in gold
Well,
bullion. We were buying kilo bars, we were buying 10-ounce bars, we were buying gold rounds. And I remember, some of these things I was pricing, we went over 2,000 on some of it, like 2,100 because you have to factor in the premium, you know,
Okay.
spot. And I was thinking, wow, 2,100, like that's a lot. And I spoke to him the other day, and I was like, hey, Peter, you must be pretty. I mean, this guy, he probably has who knows, $100 million net worth, if not more.
Mm,
But he doubled his money in just a couple of years on his purchases. So I'm very happy for him for that.
mm. Yeah, it's good to. Yeah, I'm sure you get to see that a lot. Like a lot of clients that you have invest, over time, and eventually, they get they're in profit, and then come back and either purchase some more or trade in or even sell some of their previous product. And like happy, these happy customers like come back. It's like pretty much like
Yes,
long term clients that you have. That's exciting.
absolutely. It's
Yeah,
very exciting. It's all what's the expression? All boats rise with the high tide.
yeah.
So this is helping. I love graded coins. That's the primary part of our business.
Mm,
Rare slabbed coins, but even those coins, they appreciated in conjunction with precious metals, so that's great. You have the numismatic
mm,
value, which continues to rise. I just read an article the other day, and I wish I would have sent it to you so we could have looked at it on our show here. But it was about how much money is flowing into alternative investments because
mm,
people are getting weary about the tech stocks, which have done fantastic. But if you've owned Nvidia for the last 3 years, you've done phenomenal. Palantir, you've done phenomenal. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all these huge companies, and people are getting, in this article saying, are getting to the point where um, they've made so much money in these investments that if you take out the top seven tech companies,
mm,
most of the market has not done. The other companies that make the S&P 500 have not really performed all that great. So people
mm,
are, in this article, it was basically like that. People are they're pulling profits off taking profits, and they're pulling the money out of the stock market because it's so overvalued right now. But is it
mm.
overvalued? That's a conversation for another time. Um,
Right.
and then they're putting that money into alternative investments, and collectibles are a shoo-in. Rare coins, stamps, high-end comic books, sports memorabilia, fine wines. You name it. The list goes on and on. Even I collect fossils, right? I mean, that's just a side thing I do, and even
Oh,
fossils have gone, through the roof. Uh, as well as I also collect some gemstones, and I collect different kinds of minerals that I
okay.
buy in auction, and those have like shot up. So there's just the point of the story was how much money is flowing in, and there's no slowdown really in the foreseeable future, especially with what's going on in the world. And by that I mean there is no sign that any government on the planet is trying to slow down their spending and their debt.
Mm,
It's not even in the conversation. I mean, yeah, there's people screaming it, but putting it into practice, it's not happening. And until there is until we get into a situation where, especially the United States, uh, becomes more accountable for the spending that we do,
mm.
metals are going to keep going up. I mean, have you heard anything through your network, your pipeline of what's going on?
So there's a couple things like yesterday or was it today? Paxos printed out or basically minted on chain on the blockchain $300 trillion, but immediately removed it. Um, yeah, so that happened today. Or was it today
That
or
was an
yesterday?
error, right?
Yeah, it was an error. It was somebody fat fingered $300 trillion. Pretty much the world net worth. Um, Another thing is a Japanese supplier suspended some the gold sales. Um, and then Goldman Sachs mentioned that they're looking at $4,900 gold by December to 2026. Was that 2026?
Well, didn't
2026.
Jamie Dimon say something about gold as well? What was his price target?
It was 5,000 to 10,000. I don't think there was a certain date.
Okay.
But he's saying like target maybe all time high.
And for
Um,
those who don't know, Jamie Dimon, he's the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan.
yeah, so he's just stockpiling, of course, gold. But and he was the reason why silver diminished its price from the previous high from the $50. I think it was in the 2008, seven, somewhere there. Early
Mhm.
2000s, right? Suppose he was holding the price back. There's a lot of price suppression in silver because of him. I
Oh
think at the
yeah.
time, yeah. Paper stocks. But yeah, I've been having that conversation with a lot of people on X. You know, um, is this does gold price being reflected based on if Jamie Dimon calls it, is that a top signal? Or I don't know, does silver get is silver's price correlated in gold when it comes to um, if there's a price cut, or not price cut, but like capitulation on the price of gold, like if there's some like pullback on gold, will silver be affected? um and yeah, I mean, it's good to have those conversations. These people are, a lot of people will have different takes, like Jamie Dimon's the top signal. I keep on saying, like Jim Cramer kind of thing. If he calls top gold, sell, sell the news kind of thing.
Start selling. Yeah.
Like,
Inverse
short when he
Kramer.
says, yeah, you short against Kramer pretty much. So but yeah, it's always interesting to see their takes on, like, if Jamie Dimon's, stockpiling. Of course that's the case. He doesn't say anything until he actually is, accumulated
Until
enough. You
yeah,
know?
until his position is filled, and then he
Yeah,
starts selling.
until his
And
coffers are full.
we have to keep in mind as well, when people like Jamie Dimon and even Kramer, when they speak, especially Jamie Dimon. I mean,
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt. His first and foremost concern is his shareholders of the company.
Mhm.
So, he was a big proponent of stopping Bitcoin, blockchain,
Oh yeah.
crypto in general, tokenization. He couldn't hold it back, and then because he was crapping on it forever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that, and finally, now he's like, oh well, I see a future in this, and so got to take it with a grain of salt. Um, his company, they probably have a huge long position in GLD and
Oh yeah.
other precious metal positions. But my understanding and what I've been told from my sources is that it's total anarchy in London. The London spot
Yeah.
market is the largest in the world. Second is the COMEX up in
Yeah.
Illinois,
Right.
and so they people are now, which they haven't done in the past, asked for the physical. They want delivery of physical,
Right.
and because in the past you just roll over your trade into another paper trade. Not anymore. So now the investors are saying, well, I'm not going to roll this trade. I want physical delivery. And
Right.
last time I checked, I think it was like 300 to 1, uh, the actual amount of calls on each ounce of silver.
Yeah.
So completely understocked. There's just not enough to deliver.
Mhm.
You have that going on. You have short squeeze happening.
Oh yeah.
Um, we knew as soon as it hit 50, that was it. The short squeeze was going to come
Yeah.
into effect, probably even before that. But something we were talking about just a few minutes ago that I find as previous stockbroker, was the spread in silver, which right now it's trimmed down a little bit. But yesterday there was a $3 spread, and right now you're looking at $1.50 ish. It's the 54.30 by 52.94. And as I had mentioned, when you see large spreads, that's indicative of something happening in that security. Uh, there should typically large spreads are for, let's say, with stocks, right? So stocks, illiquid stocks where if you bought, a few $100,000 worth, you actually move the market, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so it's really unusual to see such a large spread with silver. this will go down in history. I believe this is a historical moment for us. So those that are watching, continue to watch that spread. As the spread tightens, I think you'll see the position, in this case silver, it will not appreciate as fast. I think it'll start to stabilize and hopefully build a floor in this area, because nothing can keep going up and up and up every day. That's just not how things work. I mean, we could gap up at some point, especially if there's not enough silver to actually deliver on the calls. So, but keep an eye on the spread. Gold, I was looking, the spread is pretty normal, but silver, there's a real issue with being able to fill those orders. So it's good for us that have, those of you that have silver and other precious metals.
Yeah, it's been a big push. People have been saying PSLV, physical silver, to keep get their physical silver out. And the huge thing is the hashtag silver squeeze. It's been quite a bit of a trend going on in that part of that conversation for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I would say there's more people advocating for silver than it is gold right now.
What's the likelihood, Dustin, of the government, and Trump would be the one who would have to do it because he has the balls to do it, where other politicians just wouldn't, where they actually do a reset of our fiat currency backed by the stockpile of gold the U.S. owns in Fort Knox, at the Fed in New York, whatever gold the United States is the largest owner of gold in the world. Now, China, I'm sure, has a lot, and they probably don't report a lot of what they have. But as of right now, U.S. has the largest stockpile, and so what is the likelihood of them the government saying, okay, we're gonna basically go back on the gold standard, and we're gonna back our dollars moving forward with gold. I did read that article. I've read it in a few different places. The talk was that this is already being discussed at the highest levels of government, at the U.S. Treasury. They're not so much the Federal Reserve, because that would literally take a lot of power away from the Federal Reserve. But the highest level of the U.S. Treasury are talking about this and doing it on the 250th anniversary of the United States next year.
Wow, interesting. I mean, I see it starting to come to fruition. I know a lot of states, or at least Florida, to my knowledge, and other states are having that conversation of having gold as a way to for a currency. So as a way to spend your money wisely, and having a way to back it. It's like constantly having this price price fluctuation in comparison to physical assets to US dollar, especially precious metals. um I mean, it's likely. It's just I don't think, at least yet, you know enough states. Obviously, if the federal government decides that, but I don't know. I think it's possible. I mean, it would be in the best interest. The U.S. dollar is losing its strength, and other countries, like, or even like BRICS, they're becoming stronger in different ways. But
Yeah.
you um, we have to be able to pivot, because U.S. dollar, the oil-backed, fiat currency is not the stronghold anymore. Tech is huge, and then certain precious metals in other countries are being extracted and delivered outside of US's sanctions. So I mean, it would be the best time ever to create that revaluation. But yeah, it's always been on the chopping block. It's always been the conversation pretty much my whole life. It's like
Yeah.
revaluation of currency, and like, do we combine Canada, like North America, the US and Mexico, to create the marrow, or like, um other countries and their evaluation of, or reevaluating their currencies again, like Zimbabwe, or like the mark, with Germany and Venezuela. It's like these countries have already seen, what could happen if their currency gets debased to the point where it's worth nothing. Um, yeah, I mean we're almost at that point. Like we need to have a basket of commodities again. If it is
Yeah.
digital assets as well, or precious metals.
Are you familiar, Dustin, with Goldbacks? Can you maybe pull it's goldback.com is the website.
Go back. Um,
Goldback.
go back. Go back. Are those like gold dollars?
Yes. So
Okay, they're like a.
we're authorized dealers for Goldback. If anyone is interested in getting some, reach out to us.
I'll pull that
But
up.
it's an interesting concept, and there's many states now that are accepting them, including Florida. Um, let's see if I can find on their site where to buy them state by state. But it's a great concept because you can. So one Goldback right now is priced at
Yeah.
$8.73.
Yep.
Um, these are things you would buy with your fiat currency, and then you can use them at stores. And there's more and more stores accepting these. Where let's say you bought $100,000 worth of Goldbacks at the beginning of the year, they would probably be worth now. Their spending power would be, you know, at least 50% higher, 150, $170,000 in spending power. Um, and the best part, Dustin, and I'm not
Mm.
promoting them, so much. It's not my business, but we are an authorized dealer. But the best part is that inflation, which is the tax to all of us, it's tax we all pay for all the crap that our governments get us into, but inflation does not eat at your goldbacks as it does with your fiat currency. So if you had $100,000 sitting somewhere, or 10,000, or 1,000, the number doesn't matter. I would say probably by this time of the year, 10%, if not more, of that has been eroded because of inflation. The inflation numbers that we see that advertised, that's just they're able to manipulate it in a way that you can present it so that the inflation is a lot lower. So they're saying we're under 3% inflation. Come on, go to the
Mhm.
store. The problem with those numbers is that inflation is X food and energy, which are the two biggest components of what we all spend money on for the most part. So
Right.
yeah, so goldbacks are a great idea. And again, if gold goes down, your purchasing power of your goldback would go down with that, but you're not going to have inflation eat away at it. So even if you bought goldbacks now, let's say $10,000 worth, and gold goes down in the next few months, 8%. Um, or in a year's time, 8%, you're actually going to be even, if not better off, because that inflation, which I think is double digits, would have eroded their purchasing power in that capital. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
having the gold back is not a bad idea, and more stores that buy them, that accept that. Oh yeah, well look at that map. Holy moly!
Pretty
Yeah,
much
all
most
over.
places. Hawaii.
Yeah, all states.
Okay, you
Puerto
can be
Rico.
anywhere.
Puerto Rico takes it. What's that in South America?
Right? It's like Peru or something.
That's over in
Um,
Peru for sure.
that's Peru. We got Rio de Janeiro,
West
Congo,
Africa.
Brazil, of
Oh,
course.
it's great.
Slowly taking over. Got Cairo, Egypt, Italy. I mean, this
What a
is
great
basically
idea.
universal money. I mean, that's
It really is. I'm gonna buy some today. I might buy 10 grand of goldbacks today. I have some, but I just sold myself on why I should have more. Wow.
nice.
Yeah, so they're it you know, y-
Canada.
as things progress, you have that's the beauty of being in a capitalist society. With all the flaws of capitalism, of course there are flaws, but it is the best system out there, a meritocracy based system where people are going to come up with really great alternatives, and these people came up with goldbacks, and it's fantastic.
All of
Florida,
Florida.
there we go. They're everywhere in
All of
Florida.
Florida. Everyone in Florida is on point.
Yeah, and where you don't see it, that's all swamp.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. No
Pretty much.
one's spending goldbacks there.
Yeah. Haha.
That's cool. Yeah,
Huh.
all the coast. I mean, geez, you pretty much covered all the bases here. That's amazing. Yeah, I keep seeing goldbacks, pop up here and there, and some people are like, it's like when the blue $100 bill came out, people are like, oh, I'd still rather have the old $100 bill and not to exchange people back. Like a little skeptical, but I mean, if it has gold in it, I mean that's what the case is, right? There's a certain amount of gold
Yes.
first, and then denomination between $1 because he's based on dollar amounts. Like what's his half? So like 50 cents.
And it looks like that's a fractional currency.
Dollar two
50
five.
cents. I believe they go up to
Interesting.
$100.
Yeah, it looks like it's 100 and all denominations, even 25. So they have 25, 50, 100. Okay. So yeah, half, 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, 50. Yeah. So I mean that's cool. Yeah, I've seen these recently. I think someone showed me one not that long ago. I think about a month ago or so. Um, that's coming around.
Yeah, it is.
But
I
yeah,
was at a outdoor market this past weekend, and one of the not just one, actually a few of the vendors had a big sign right in behind their booth. We accept goldbacks. I was like, "Ooh, next time I come, I'm gonna have to bring my goldbacks with me and buy some stuff." That be my
buy
first
some
time
stuff.
using
That's cool.
it. Yeah, yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, it's
So
always
there's
merchants. Yeah, they tend to take it first.
yeah, people
Yeah,
come up with ingenious things.
yeah, it's always yeah, same thing with like digital assets. Yeah, same as like merchants are usually the first ones to accept it, like a little, like a festival or some type of like event. Accepting like random currency or things that might not they have like that kind of libertarian mindset. And they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll take whatever, in exchange. And eventually it takes off. So something like this is like, at the forefront. It's only been out for like 6 years, so
Well,
man.
let's get into
Yeah, let's get into
our subject
it.
matter today. We
I
kind
love
of
this
veered
format.
off
I think we
here.
need to do this more often where we spend like the first 20 minutes just kind of recapping on the market and just going through
Sure.
what's going on. Yeah, so I think that's what's gonna happen next. But anyways, yeah, to give you guys a little insight on what's going on. So just to recap on what we're doing here is that we're focusing on collector safeguards and heirlooms and investing. So your heirs and kind of future proofing yourself, for your next generation, your children's children, and creating that legacy portfolios with your generations to last. So we're going to give you a little step by step on like some of the safeguards and safety measures, what to look forward to, and then we're going to start here with what is importance of like certification. Of course we've gone through PCGS, NGC, CACG, which is CAC, right? Um, so that's more
CH.
of like older. It's more of like a relic, um, wise. But I've seen a lot of their grading. Um, but yeah, let's get into like it's a little bit light on the grading. We'll go more into like storage and insuring them or documentation stuff like that. So yeah. So what about certification? PCGS, NGC. What can you let them know?
Sure. Well, yeah, obviously we talk about those two graders all the time. PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Services, NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. And under them, they have other subsidiaries. PMG, for, Paper Money Guarantee, for that's under the NGC umbrella, as well as they have CGC, Certified Grading Corp. They do sports cards, and they do comic books, and they do pretty much anything you can think of, for the most part, in terms of like magazines and stuff. You can all have graded, but the nice thing about having your coins graded is that they're verifiable, and your heirs can then at some later date. So let me say it this way: I think I put it in my own terms, right? I have a vast collection of not only coins, currency, but other things. And so when I travel, I'm going somewhere soon, and my first thought is, so if something happens to me, how do my kids know what to do? You know, I don't want my kids to bring my stuff to a pawn shop or, to somewhere and not know what they have, what the values are, and not get the amount of money they should get for those coins. And that's an issue for, I don't think, I know it's an issue for a lot of us that have large cabinets. I've had this conversation many, many, many times over the years with customers, and so as of right now, what we do is, like in my case, I have an inventory list. I have fair market value, and I also, because I'm in the business, I'm able to give numbers and contacts of people to reach out to if something happened to me, where they could unload the collection. Now, people that don't have that, don't have those contacts, are just, only have me as a contact or someone like me, a dealer. What do we do in that case? So this is something that you and I, Dustin, have discussed over the years, and I'd like to have a show in the future where we go over some of our ideas and some of the things that we're planning and implementing and actually putting as a business, which is in and of itself active, but applying blockchain to collectibles for the purpose of future proofing, for the purpose of the heirs, so they know what they have and what to do with the coins. And we can go down that road a little further when we have that topic of discussion. I don't want to put too much out there right now, because this is still something that we're going to launch here in the future. But yeah, that's a real issue of what do I do? Like, my father passed away, my grandfather passed away, he left me with all these coins, all this stuff. What do I do with it? Well, hey, you have to call a reputable dealer and first find out what you have, get an appraisal, and then if you're looking to sell, next step, sell your coins to the dealer, and hope that you get a great deal. With precious metals high right now, that's always a good thing, but uh, having a source to unload a large collection is invaluable. And there are actually collections that we can't buy. They're just, there's people out there that have millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of coins. And really, Dustin, we cater to all people, but our niche in this industry is that we really cater to high net worth individuals. And even our company motto is discretion is our motto. That's our motto. So having an outlet for vast collections is of the utmost importance, and we have those contacts. So if, let's say, Dustin, you knew someone that you gave them my info, they called me, and they have $3 million in rare graded coins. I can't buy that today.
That's huge. Yeah,
it's a lot to put down, and then have to have the responsibility and burden of then selling all those coins. But I have, I have other people in my pipeline, other organizations that can buy $5 million worth of coins. So even though I wouldn't be the one to sell them ultimately, I probably look to cherry pick some of the coins and pick out the ones that I know we could move quickly. But we could. My point being with all this is that we could move any size collection, whether it's $10,000 to $10 million and everything in between. So I just wanted to put that out there with excuse me, with future collector safeguards. As far as heirloom investing, I think that is what most of our customers are doing. I can't, all the time I hear, I'm buying this for my grandkids. I need one for each of them, or I'm just putting together this stockpile of assets that when I'm gone, they can then in the future turn that into cash. And the reason that I always like to ask questions, well, why do you want to do that? How can I help facilitate? And the answer normally is that people are concerned, rightfully so, with inflation and markets, and they want to have their money, their hard-earned money, into something that's not going to be affected so much by the stock market, by interest rates, by a large amount of inflation. So we're the people to get involved with you to help with that. And there's a lot more, but I'll stop now, see if you have anything that you wanted to ask or add, and then I'll continue.
I just wanted to mention I put our information on the bottom here. You can give us a call, 561-310-8341. Email us at uniquecoins@gmail.com. Check us out, coinandcurrency.net and eBay, American CC. You can check out our current inventory that we're constantly updating. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're here to help you guys.
So how great
Yeah.
would it be if there was an exchange, Dustin, right? Where people, let's say my grandfather gifted me or left me with a large collection, $1 million plus, or $500,000 plus of coins. That, if I know nothing about coins, what do I do? Like, how do I move that? How do I convert that into cash?
Right.
And I'll tell you, I've heard horror stories. I've heard, stories where things work out, but for the most part, it's really a daunting task. And you need to have, if there was an exchange, a digital exchange, where I could send this collection off to, let's say, American Coin and Currency, and then the coins could then be held, and I could then get at least a portion of these assets sent back to me in the form of a token, in the form of crypto, something like that. That's something I think that I don't think that's something that is coming down the pike.
Sure.
So there's a lot rolled up in there. There's a lot of ways we could go with that. There's a lot of discussion there. I'm just bringing it up because as of right now, unless you go to someone like myself, you're probably not going to get the most out of that collection. And your grandfather will be rolling around in the grave knowing that you sold a 1927 𝗙𝗂𝗰𝗂𝗿𝗃 for spot, when that's in mid-state 60, $100,000 coin. So
that's true.
What we want to do is educate. What we want to do is be a basket for people where where they can come to us. They know that we're going to do what's best for that collection and get the most yield out of that collection, the most conversion of coin to dollar for that customer. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So there's a few things that we can do. If we buy a collection outright, I'm looking to buy that at the lowest price possible. So that's basically a fire sale, and any dealer is going to do the same thing. If you come to me and I want to sell all this, I'm going to try to get it. I'm going to give you a fair price, but it's going to be 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗱𝗲's price, which I'm going to use 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗱𝗲. It's a dealer wholesale book, and every dealer uses that for wholesale pricing. Or we can consign. So how does that work? So if you come to me, you come to us, and hey, I have all these coins. I don't need all the money right this second. I would like to get the most out of each coin. Well, consign your coins, because now we can take our time and we can actually market your collection. And what does that entail? So we bring a collection in and we offer it. We have thousands of customers in-house throughout the United States and Canada. We're on several platforms online where we sell coins. So being able to offer coins individually, showcasing each one like that, will bring the most return on those coins, as opposed to just selling them all at once. That takes time, so depending on the size of the collection is going to depend on the time. But let's say it's $100,000 in coins, figure that could be anywhere from a week to a month to sell those.
Mm.
And so people should have that in mind, keep that in mind, because it is important. As far as heirloom investing, I mentioned it quickly earlier, but yeah, I mean, that's I think what, the collecting and investing in these items is something that we do. If you're a collector, you enjoy doing it. For me, I love the history. I've mentioned this many, many times. I love the intrinsic value of something that's small that I can hold in my hand that could be worth X amount of money, 10,000, $100,000, $1,000,000 for this one little thing in my hand. To me, that's very appealing. So heirloom investing is I think the goal for a lot of investors, even though we're doing it selfishly for ourselves, the end the end goal, the end game is to pass these assets on to our heirs if we have them. And so what does that entail? Again, same thing. You need an outlet. If you don't have an outlet to sell, especially large amounts, large dollar amounts, you're not going to get the maximum value. It's just a fact. It's how it is. So having someone like American Coin Currency to reach out to help guide you through it, and Dustin, on top of all of that, people are dealing with grief, and when people are dealing with
Right.
grief, a lot of times they're not making the best decisions.
Yeah, we
And so,
talked about that before. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yep. So
trusting the wrong people. Yeah.
having us in your corner through
Uh,
those hard times will definitely make life a little easier for you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a perfect example of like people taking advantage of people like in mourning and trusting the right people that actually want to create credible business with customers and clients and bring them into to the future. Like they could be a future client, they could be somebody you work with one time, but creating that atmosphere to understand like these people are mourning. They may have had a loss. And not taking advantage of that moment. It's like, people, like we mentioned before, there's these grifters that come up with this like storyline and they reach out to people knowing that someone they passed and then they trust them with, whatever coins. And yeah, it's just, there's a reason people like us exist in the world that we want to help the right people and help and right people want to reach out to us. And it makes it so we get to be like a strong voice in the industry and show give that blueprint for others. And yeah, I love to be able to help people, and that's what we offer here. So yeah, I'm excited to dive a little bit more into this or this topic. So some of the ideas I had were, what are like some of the proper storages? Like, if someone was to have a self custody, like how would they store these coins? For long term, is there like humidity involved? The slabs, do they deteriorate over time? Like, what are some of the things you do for yourself and other collectors you've seen?
Man, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So the slab coins are hermetically, I believe they're hermetically sealed. There's going to be nothing that gets in here at all. No air, no condensation, no humidity. So these can be kept pretty much anywhere.
Mm.
I even froze one. I put one in the freezer at the office one time just to see. I left it overnight, and the next day it was
Nothing.
perfectly fine. Even when
Wow.
it got back to room temperature, there was no condensation on the inside. So
Interesting.
the graded coins can be kept anywhere. Of course, I would keep them in a safe place and literally in a safe deposit box.
Mm.
Um, these things get stolen quite often when people break into homes, so I wouldn't have them just sitting like on a closet shelf.
Right.
Um, the reason I'm glad you brought that question up is, in my experience, my years in this business, a lot of
Mm.
people they keep coins in books. So a lot of people like to collect and fill out books, and there's a book for every coin you can imagine. Whether it's
Mm.
pennies, nickels, dimes. So each year you put in the coin, it's raw, it's not graded. And so I've come across many books over the years. Some of these years, like a dime, like a 1916D Mercury dime, even in a heavily circulated condition, is it's like a $4,000 coin.
Wow.
I've never found one. I've never had one come in that someone had, or I've only bought them already graded.
Okay.
But so what people do is, if they don't have those books, which keep the coins perfect because they're just open air, they close. There's nothing on them. It's just cardboard for the most part, that holds that coin in the round. But what people tend to do is they'll put them in books that have, these plastic flips. Now these plastic flips are different. There's no PVC in them. The older books that were sold, up until pretty much recently, and they still sell them, the plastic in those has PVC. And so what
Um.
happens over time is that the coin, even though you think that you're, let's say you have a complete Morgan silver dollar collection, including like the 1895 proof and the, 1893S and the 1889 Carson City, and you have
Jeez.
them in this nice book, and they're all closed in these plastic flips and the plastic sleeves. Well, if there's PVC in that, you get what's called, you'll take the book, and I've done this, so I know firsthand. I bought a book of coins that were in these holders, and I sent the rare ones, and they get graded, and they came back as details. So details is something wrong with the coin. Normally a coin
Oh.
is going to grade a numerical number, like anywhere from good up to set mint state 70 or proof 70. So when a coin comes back, let's say that 1916D AU details, PVC damage. So
Oh.
your
Bad.
rare coin, which you thought was safely being stored in this book, is now it's lost a tremendous amount of value, because instead of coming back at AU, let's say 58, it came back just AU details, which now pushes that coin down to the next price point, or next scale on there, which is XF or VF, extra fine or very fine. And that's what details does. So do you understand what I'm saying? So if you have a coin that's like mint state um, details, or AU 50 details, instead of it being AU 50, because that details, it goes down to the next price point, or even lower than that. So on some coins, I mean, we talked about those Morgans a second ago, and 1895 proof is the king of Morgans. I would literally cry if I sent that in, and I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to have a proof, 60, or, in the 50s, which is a phenomenally expensive coin, but it comes back details, PVC damage. Now you're talking about possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars in
Crazy.
loss because it was stored incorrectly. So that's hugely
Yikes.
important. Buy. You can go. There's
Wow.
some really good spots. You can go online. I shop Wizards Coin Supply. I have nothing to do with them. I just think they're a great business. Wizard Coin Supply has all new holders, no PVC in the plastic. So if you have stuff sitting in those old plastic holders, yeah, if they're not already damaged from PVC, they will be. So pull them out and get yourself new books.
Interesting. So the books, so you can send them in to get like regraded or like re-slabbed. It's
I'm talking about, they're not slabbed yet. So
Oh, they're not right, right, okay.
yeah,
I guess
so
that's
these
just
are,
another question.
yeah.
Um, that'd be another question. But okay, so the damage, yeah, that would suck because if it gets damaged and the grade goes down, that's significant. Um, from yeah, just one grade could be
Could
worth
be,
hundreds of
could be,
thousands,
yeah, tens of thousands, if not
tens. Yeah,
six
especially
figures.
yeah. The Was it the 1863? What was that one that was like sold for 10 million?
Oh, there was a 1794 dollar.
1794. That's it. Yeah, Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
Could you imagine? It had been stored in plastic with
Oh,
PVC.
that's
Oh,
bad. Horrible. Um, yeah, let's see what else we got here. That's some more questions here. Oh yeah, let's cover. So what about like insurance? Like if you were to insure, like can like a regular person insure their collections? Or if they send it to custodian, or um, what's the like documentation that goes with it? Like, do they have to update that documentation every year, like with their insurance, or like how does that work?
sure. It's just like insuring it's just like insuring jewelry at your house
Oh,
or
okay.
any other high end valuable. Um, you're gonna have to get a an estimate done by a dealer who will sign off that your coins are worth X amount, and then submit that to your insurance company to then uh, cover your coins because yeah, it does happen. Coins get stolen quite often, unfortunately, and that's not the purpose of people. Someone breaks in your house, they're not necessarily looking for coins unless they somehow knew you had an expensive collection. But yeah, I would definitely get them insured, and I think it is annually, and it depends on your insurance company. But all major insurance companies have where they can offer insurance on items like these, and each one's different. So you have to call and find out.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, just determine on your collection that you have.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we covered a lot of these topics I have here about like like fake appraisers or like like scammers, per se. So now we're gonna running out of time. Probably have to push the time a little bit if you have some extra time today. Um, but let's see, how to create a collector handbook. We kind of mentioned that. Yeah, we pretty much covered that portion. Let's see, bad actors. We pretty much covered that for the most part. Just don't just trust anybody, if they're ENA lifetime members, definitely look into, if there's any credibility on their socials, or, if they have a physical brick and mortar location, stuff like that. So definitely do research on the internet, for people, make sure they're credible. Um, let's
Yeah.
see, like legacy boxes. Let's see, grading documentation. This is just like more like information about the like grades, I guess would say. Like, okay, so let's see. Oh, okay. When it comes to like like collections, um, like tax implications, like you kind of touched on a little bit. Like, is there, like people transferring it, like building, having a trust, something like that? Like, what are some of the stories that you've ran into, or yourself? If you could give an example.
Of maybe I misunderstood the question.
Say someone did pass away, like what are some of the processes, if they have that trust set for their collection? Like, this is more like legal
Okay,
aspect, I would
got it.
say, but
Yeah,
like
yeah. So
touching.
as far as with a trust, I don't think that really has much to do with like if you're going to be selling or buying. You could of course put anything in the trust,
Right,
which you should do if you have a lot of assets. Put that in trust for various reasons. But I'm not a lawyer, so talk to a lawyer about that.
right.
Uh, what I can say is, um, how should I put this the right way? Um, you have you have a the trust. So here's the situation. If you came to me, Dustin, with $100,000 in bullion,
Yeah.
okay, I have to, and you sold it to me. I have to send a form to the IRS
Mhm.
that states, what you sold, the date, your social security number, and now it's on you to file when you file your taxes to pay your capital gains, depending on what your cost basis is, which in and of itself could be a nightmare trying to find cost basis, especially if this is something that you inherited or that you bought, people
Right.
I bought gold 20 years ago. Um, so up to 20, I believe it's $25,000 throughout the year. It doesn't matter anything above that. So if it's one purchase, 25,000 or more, or increments that go over 25,000, I have to fill out a form with the IRS, let them know, send it in, and now you're on the hook for the taxes. Um,
Okay.
and buying as well. If you're buying a certain amount of bullion, the government wants to know. Now, with rare coins, with graded, rare coins, um, I don't have. There's no IRS form for rare coins or rare notes. So same situation, Dustin. You come in my office and you have $100,000 in rare coins that I purchased from you. Um, there's nothing for me to send to the IRS. There's no forms there. It's only for bullion. So it's not like I'm trying to avoid or help you not pay taxes. Everyone should have to pay. You got to pay your taxes. I'm not telling no one not to do that. So you sell me the $100,000 in rare coins. When you file your taxes, that's on you to file your taxes and pay your share. My only point is that I don't have to submit a form to the IRS if you sell me those rare coins as opposed to selling me bullion. Does that kind of answer that question?
Yeah, yeah. It gives like like if they get transferred to trust, if they're graded coins, then they wouldn't have to pay taxes for it.
Well, you have to pay taxes on gains.
On gains. Okay, okay. Fair.
So, but that's my whole point is that there's no IRS form for rare coins, and maybe
Okay.
that's why so many wealthy people buy rare coins. I'm just saying. I
Makes
don't know.
sense.
Could be.
It could be. Love that. All right, yeah, so we're at the hour here. We'll just go through some safeguards with you guys just to recap, and then we'll open for questions, and then we'll just wrap up for the day. Um, So yeah, always make sure that you have verified graded coins, PCGS, NGC. Make sure they're in the database. Make sure they're not stolen. Do your research for sure on anything that you purchase. So look up the certification numbers. If it's in the inventory, if it's updated, if there's any red flags. Definitely look in that. Like mentioned, insuring your collection. With your homeowner's insurance. Separately, so make sure that your collection itself is documentation, around that. Um, and then mentioning that storing your coins, it doesn't necessarily have to be humidity, because they're quite sealed, but putting them in safe places such as a vault or safe, somewhere away from prying eyes and hands. Um, and then yeah, avoid buying gold like at random places. If it's like Etsy or something, or too good to be true. Gold is being sold at $3,000 an ounce.
Yeah. If
Definitely
if,
do your research.
if it's under spot, be wary.
Yeah, yeah. I see those on eBay where it's like, oh yeah, buy silver $20 an ounce. I'm like, what's going on here? Um, I always see that like Tracks NYC is like, look at this, and he melts it, and it's just like nothing, like it's just copper.
Yeah,
So,
it's probably silver plated lead.
yeah, silver plated. Yeah, it's always something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what else to add here? Add a collector letter to your estate plan. We didn't touch on that, but these are things to mention. Annual appraisals, so make sure that you get appraisal, for your insurance. And then yeah, teach your family or children, about the slaps themselves, like, so that way if it gets passed down to them, they're just not, you know, dumbfounded and just kind of blank, you just educate, your errors if you're going to pass them down. And then, be sure to document everything, photos, invoices, certificates, and whatnot. So All right. So let's see. Yeah, let's open the
Or if you
questions.
really want to be swell, sell your collection before you have to pass it on to your heirs.
Yeah, that would probably. I mean, but yeah, exactly. When
No
in
one,
doubt,
no one ever does though. No one
yeah,
ever
just
does.
like you're like on a life, like at home at hospice, like oh, sell the collection, like the breathing tube, like at the
Get
end of the
John
day,
Nate on the phone.
I mean, like show me the money kind of thing. I don't know. All right, let's open the questions, guys. If someone had a collection, can American coin and currency hold my collection? Um,
Sure. We, I mean, we do hold collections for a couple people. We have, there's some agreements that have to be signed, and yeah, but we don't advertise anything like that. We don't.
right.
It's not something we really do, and try to make money on or anything like that. We just have a few customers that we do that for. That we hold their collections. We're licensed and bonded in the state of Florida, so again, it's not something that I prefer to do, but in certain situations, I can do it. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. So yeah, give us a call. Let us know if certain situation, and yeah, let us know what you guys got. Um, and let's see. Someone says, "Where are you?" I don't know. Where are you? We're in Florida, West Palm. Check us out. X. You can see our location. Find us on Google. Let's see. Do I have a link? I don't know. For some reason, it's not popping up. But yeah, find us on everywhere. Pretty much. Are there any horror stories on graded coins being damaged from bad seals?
So, no, not really. There's not really. I mean, I've had some coins that are graded that are older, 20 plus years old graded coins.
Mm.
And you can tell which ones are older because, like, I don't have one here, but the old PCGS holders, they're called rattlers.
Oh,
They'll have a green holder, old green holder, and then prior to that, they had a different holder. And NGC, look at the lettering; it's dot matrix. So if
oh,
if it's fonted, if the font is like a dot matrix, that's a
yeah.
really old slab. And there's actually now a full on subset category of collectors that collect the old slabbed coins. They're not so much going after the coin as much as they're going after the old slab. So I haven't seen many, even those old slabs that are broken, or yeah, they do break. Like, of course they crack and stuff, but no horror stories as far as like one that was had a little bit of an opening and then something happened to the coin. Normally, when something happens where a slab needs to be replaced, just send it back. They reholder it, so now you have a nice new slab, and you don't have to worry about the coin inside.
All right. Well, it's good to know because yeah, they've been doing really well with the slaps over the years, so it's good to hear. Nothing too crazy. I think that's it from us. Just to plug in our info here, call us 561-310-8341. Email us at youneedcoins@gmail.com, coinandcurrency.net. Find us on eBay and American CC. Check us out on our inventory. All right, yeah, we're here at the hour, a little bit over time. Appreciate that. Any final words to our guests today?
Watch the spread. Follow the spread.
Follow the spread, guys. Yeah, I mean it's getting close with the silver. I mean, we're looking like $60 is in the cards. I mean, that's right around the corner. 12% for the week. I mean, another 12. That's almost close to 60. That's about 58, give or take.
It's on
So
its way.
yeah, we're keep it moving. Precious metals market, numismatic graded coins, all of it's going up. Anything you look forward to with any coins coming out?
The last, this time of the year, the mint really starts slowing down. So we're waiting on the reverse proof Morgan and Peace dollar sets. We have an exclusive. There's only 160 sets of them, and this is the finale of the 6-coin set that goes throughout the year. And one thing real quick, Dustin, I looked at the debt clock, and the paper to silver ratio is now 359 to 1.
Oh, okay. Let's pull that up before we take off here. Yeah, let's pull this up here. All right, what are we looking at?
So go down to the bottom right, and then click on the precious metals.
Precious metal. Oh, that's a lot of green. Lithium, holy. Gold 20%.
Where did you see lithium at?
Oh, it's right in the middle. 944.
Okay, I see it.
I'll even zoom in a little bit. Oh, go back. Crazy. Yeah, looks like I mean, we're losing reserves. That's what I'm seeing. It's going down. Like,
Wow.
I mean, silver is going way down in reserves.
Yes, it is.
That's crazy. Um, Production. Okay, so we're basically our reserves in comparison to production it's significant. I mean, I don't know. It's about the same. I don't know. It seems like there's a deficit. Um, yeah. I mean, this is this is good to pay attention to, guys. But yeah. Let's wrap up here. Someone says study. We got study from Witness Maximus. Appreciate you being here. Be sure to come back and see us every week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We're here every Thursday. Check us out on our socials, American Coin and Currency, across pretty much all our socials. Check us out eBay. Give us a little call here if you guys have any questions. Feel free to ask about anything. We have a lot of coins in stock that are not on eBay. So, while supplies last as it happens to be, because a lot of things kind of fly off the shelf. But we're always looking for new things, and we're always having new inventory. So, yeah. So this is it for the week. This American Coin and Currency, and this is Cracking the Code. Let's get this title here. Cracking Code, Securing the Future, Collective Safeguards, and Heirloom Investing. Appreciate you guys being here, and we guys will see you on the next one, 1 p.m. Eastern, Thursday. Guys have a great day.
See you on the flip side.
See ya.